What's up everybody, it's Sean here today to give you guys a review of the women's Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG in the Starfish colorway. Either way though, so diving into the details of this shoe. So on the toe box, you can see that this is crafted in a smooth white leather and has this perforated look to it just like all your other Air Jordan 1s. Surrounding the front toe cap, we have a nicely tumbled orange colored leather, which in real life has a bit more of a muted and slightly burnt tone to it, as opposed to the overly bright and vibrant orange tone that we see sometimes on the promotional images. You can see right here on the side flap, we have this extra stitch that goes up about halfway, which I have no idea why this was included, but I found it to be very interesting. And the same tumbled orange leather covers the eyelets of the shoe as well. And then beneath this, on the mid panel, we have more of that smooth white leather, and then overlaid on top of this, we have this orange leather swoosh. This same orange leather covers the top portion of the shoe, and on the lateral side only, debossed within it, we have the Air Jordan Wings logo, which is done in this brown color. And this brown color reappears once again, surrounding the top portion of the ankle collar area, where this is covered in leather as well. And then surrounding the bottom of the heel, we have more of that tumbled orange leather once again. Hanging off the shoe, it comes with this square leather hang tag with Nike Air branding in brown, but they also give you a secondary hang tag as well. This one is crafted out of a brown colored leather, and I believe this is supposed to mimic the look of a Birkin bag, where they typically have this extra leather hang tag that's hanging off the handle, and I thought this was a really dope added touch, giving the shoe more of an elevated and premium feel. In terms of laces, so these come with two different lace options. The standard default lace is a flat style lace in orange, but they also give you a secondary sail colored lace as well. And instead of the typical clear bag, the laces come packaged in this recycled paper, and it's always good to be environmentally friendly. Underneath this, we have a thin nylon tongue, which is given a slightly vintage look with a bit of a yellowish tone to it. And at the very top, we have this nylon tag with Nike Air branding in orange. The back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe, this is lined in a thick fleece lining in white, which I honestly wasn't the biggest fan of. I would have probably preferred maybe an orange lining instead, something that would make it stand out a little bit less. And then as for the insole, so these come with a polyurethane foam insole. It has that same white colored fleece lining on top, and stamped on the heel we have Nike Air branding in orange. So the upper of these Air Jordan 1s sits atop this solid rubber cup sole, which is once again given that vintage touch in the slightly cream or off-white tone. Encased within the midsole but not visible to the eye, there is Nike Air technology for cushioning and impact protection. And then turning the shoe over to the bottom, this is just your classic Air Jordan 1 outsole. And in this case, it's entirely constructed out of an orange colored rubber. We have that same circular pivot point on the forefoot and the Nike logo found right in the center. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about sizing, so once again, keep in mind, this is a women's release, and I'm not exactly sure what the biggest size these will come in, but basically to get your women's size equivalent, assuming you are a male, you would go up 1.5 sizes. So in my case, I'm a size 10, and I got these in a size 11.5 women's. And for example, if you're a men's 8, you should get a women's 9.5. And I'd say that these fit pretty similarly to a standard men's Air Jordan 1 high as well. But if anything, if I'm nitpicking, I feel like they fit maybe slightly more narrow in this toe box right here, but not enough that I'd want to go up a half size. So whatever size you normally wear for the Air Jordan 1 high, I'd stick with that same size for this pair as well. Moving on to the comfort, so these feel like any other Air Jordan 1. So with that said, it's going to feel very stable and very low to the ground. There's not too much from a softness and step-in comfort perspective, but the leather they use on the upper feels pretty soft straight out of the box. So it wasn't like you needed a lot of break-in time to really soften up the shoe. Last but not least, in terms of the overall quality and the craftsmanship. So I want to preface this section by saying I'm by no means a leather expert. If you want someone that's actually very knowledgeable about leather, check out the channel Rose Anvil. But just from the eye test, I thought that the materials were very solid. The white leather felt a little bit thin, but it still had a nice softness to it. And this orange leather had a nice tumbled feel to it. And I was very happy with the quality of this leather as well. And this brown leather at the very top, it felt a little bit stiffer than the rest, but this could have been just a quality control issue. And I'd say that quality wise, it wasn't bad at all either. However, according to the Nike.com description of this shoe, they mention, and I quote, super luxe semi-matte faux leather and embossed leather, which implies there's some sort of synthetic leather that's used on the upper of the shoe. And what leather they use on the shoe that wasn't genuine, I honestly couldn't tell. And from an overall craftsmanship and build standpoint, there were no real glue stains, the stitch job was very good. So I was very, very happy with how these turned out in hand. so with all that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet and I'll show you guys how these look.